You are name calling. I'm going to edit your ass right now for my mental health. You're out.
Y'all have got to go on InstaTube.
Instatube. Instamedia Institute.
Everything is Insta.
All right, welcome everybody to the podcast.
Hi,
If
Lee.
you are not, hi Liz, sorry. If you are not on YouTube, go ahead and head over for the last couple episodes. Liz was just like, you look like a bumblebee.
Y'all got to see this stuff. I mean, you can't be described. Last week you were like a peep, okay?
I
A
was
peep,
wearing
as
my
in a
yellow
live
sweater.
peep from 1962. This week you're like a bumblebee. I'm like, could we stop it with these brights but then I realized that's actually my shirt
It's
you're
your
wearing.
shirt.
That I begged this one off of you because I was cold.
Yeah, you were cold. I get hot in these. You're wearing the sweater. I feel great in this tee. I feel like I look like the Hamburglar.
You do. You just
remember
need like
him?
a thing, or you need a hat with like the little goggle things. Yeah, you look good though in my shirt.
Thanks so much for letting me borrow.
Yeah.
So how are you?
I'm great.
Good.
I'm good.
We are here today to visit kind of part 3 of our spring clean your life
Yes.
challenge-ish
Yeah.
conversation.
I hope everybody's doing their walking, they're drinking their water, what was the other one? Their
3 weeks ago.
protein.
Huh.
Yeah, that was,
Yes,
no, it's the habits that we're just trying to do for the it was for 12 weeks.
Yeah.
So, we're doing these
good.
3 separate podcasts. So we want you walking, we want you to drink your water, doing your protein. But today we were going to talk about editing a couple of other different things.
Yes.
Right.
Editing, auditing, and talking about mental clarity. So
Right.
we've talked a lot last week about physical movement and how that helps, you with your habits and your goals and that sort of physical clarity. And mental clarity is a huge piece of the puzzle.
Absolutely.
And if I have nothing great to say, that is because my mental clarity
Well,
is
I know why it is. Right before we came on this podcast, our producer, Kristen, all 3 were just like talking seriously about Severance. And then we got serious about White Lotus. And if you haven't seen either one of these shows, stop whatever you're doing, even if you're working out, and go turn on the TV and start watching them. Because, first of all, White Lotus, come
good.
on.
so good.
Their latest, oh my gosh, which by the time we have this podcast out, will have been out. Oh my God.
Oh, yeah.
It's just one of the best things I've ever seen on
I think
TV.
it's so entertaining.
hilarious.
And now I really want to go back and watch seasons 1 and 2 again.
Yes.
Because now I'm more invested and I'm trying to find the threads between all the episodes. And
Yeah.
clearly their director, Mike White, is just a genius.
He's a genius. Y'all just trust us on this
It's
one.
fun. It's very entertaining. And I love we're in Charlotte, and Charlotte Magazine did
Yes.
the greatest. Did we talk about this yet? I don't think so.
No, we haven't.
They posted all the things about the main characters, what neighborhood in Charlotte they thought they would live in, where they
workout.
shopped, their upkeep,
Yes.
and something like what boards they're on. And
Yes.
so there's a trio of women.
The girlfriends are my favorite.
think they're mine too.
They're just amazing. These 3 women. Go ahead and tell them what you're
Well,
going to say.
so not the main one, but the actress who is kind of
The cutest
the
one.
queen. Stop that! They're
Well,
all
she's
gorgeous
just-
actresses. My God! But the kind of the queen of
She's really
their
cute.
group. She on her what Charlotte Magazine said her upkeep was Hilliard Studio
Yes.
Method.
So she was on the board at the McCall Center.
Artistic.
She shopped at Sloan. She worked out at Hilliard Studio Method, and she had her facials with what's her name?
Skin by Blair.
Yeah, Skin by Blair.
Yeah. Lived in Dilworth, that's where I
and
live.
She lived in Dilworth. I mean, it was just
That
fabulous.
was fun.
We loved
It was
that.
really fun. It was cute.
So that's why we can't keep our minds because we're just so excited about that. And
Guess
then,
we need lorazepam.
Yeah. Yeah.
You've got to.
Yeah. And
Especially if you're North Carolinian. Just come on.
The family what is the girl's name that says lorazepam all the time?
Parker Posey is the actress who
greatest. She hits the Southern accent in North Carolina on the T. I mean, if you go to a function at University of North Carolina in Chapel Hill or at Duke, they're from Durham, and it's just like
so
you
good.
were in the room with them. They're really good. So, wow, here we are.
Whew.
Yeah.
That's why we were off track, and now we're going to mental clarity ourselves back.
Yeah, and one of our things we were going to start with
Yeah.
was consumption of media,
That's right.
right?
entertainment, media, kind of one, kind of the same, kind of separate. But you and I personally have been very overconsumed with media and the news, and it can be fraught and damaging. And so what are the skills we use when we realize we've got to kind of audit and clean up our consumption of information that is overwhelming or feeling negative? And what do we do?
Well, and if you don't feel like that's for you, then don't worry about it. But I would venture to say that most of us have some sort of not what I want to call it an addiction, but TikTok, Instagram, in my case, the news, whatever the media that is just capturing your attention that you just can't look away from. It can really take a lot of your energy, and it's a time suck.
Yeah.
And as far as people, like me, that get really caught up in the day-to-day things that are going on in the news, it can put your mood in a pretty dark place.
Yeah, it can, and it has. And I am not, calling you out or placing blame at all, but it affects your loved ones. I mean, when you are in that space and I'm trying to manage the amount of information I consume, and then you're talking about it, I'm like, no, I can't.
Yeah.
And so that can really bring some fraught energy into not just your own world, but your relationships with other people.
True.
And so finding skills to manage that and ways to pump the brakes is really important. And so obviously, deleting accounts or social medias or apps that are driving you crazy, or at least cutting those down, would be helpful.
I think so.
I know that, the three of us, talking about our producer, Kristen, we talked about, for us, seeing the president speak is too much. Like if it's coming from his mouth or directly from his pen or his fingertips, like I don't want to read it, and I want to get just factual news. And so I want to stay aware, but I want to stay above the circling drain.
That's a really good way to put it. Yeah. That is such a good way to put it, because you can spiral on down into that darkness. So how do
we watch the evening news a whole lot less.
That is
almost
off
none
the TV.
anymore.
I don't even watch TV news at all. And that is that was my safeguard. And honestly, I thought if I would quit watching TV news, which I would never watch Fox or any of that stuff, but just watching like ABC News, NBC, CBS, whatever.
Cable.
Whatever, just any of that, CNN. It was just, it's a lot. I don't think we're meant to consume so much information at one time.
Agreed.
And I do like what our producer Kristen had said, because I do the same exact thing. I have found one podcast, and it's not this one, sadly, but we don't do news. And it's the New York Times Daily, and it's a 30-minute roundup of the factual news of the day. I feel like it's a good source for, really objective news, and
that removes kind of the pundency out of it,
without what people think of it. Right. Here's what went down. Here's what's happening next, and that really has helped me. And I haven't taken all the things off my phone yet.
No, you haven't.
But I'm working on it.
That's okay. That's okay. And what we've talked about in the series is baby steps.
Yes.
And switching. What is serving you? Pump it up.
Right.
What is not serving you?
Right.
Pump the brakes.
Right.
And, I always say, not to you, I'm in the middle of teacher training. And so what I do say a lot to them is, again, brain just left the building.
Yeah, that's okay. She says nothing to the trainers. That's why, they just have to make this stuff up as they go.
That's why.
Yeah. Well, you're probably saying focus in on the one thing that you can change.
Probably.
I don't know what
that
you're
sounds
say.
good.
I'm just
going. I like that.
I'm just pulling it out of the air for you right now. I'm like, what do we got here? What do we got here? Honestly, and that's the truth, though. Focus on what we have control over, not necessarily what we can change, but what we have control over. Well, what we do have control over is ourselves. And I don't feel like when I don't watch something on TV that is news stuff, is that I'm depleting or hurting myself, or I'm punishing myself. I feel like I'm rewarding myself. I feel like when I get outside and do that 30-minute walk that we're all doing every single day, that is a treat. I'm rewarding myself with healthy movement. As far as media goes, I'm not addicted to too much of it. I love Instagram, and I play on it. It's just fun for me.
You're on it frequently.
But I do not. But because news is also on that.
I know.
And that's my Achilles heel.
Yeah.
If I see it, I just keep going.
It's an algorithm. So they're catching what you're watching and feeding it to you double, triple, quadruple time, and you can't run away from it.
Right.
They've already, made us addicted to just pick it up and check what's there.
Right.
And then the doom scroll or the scroll period, it's just what you said. I mean, it's a time suck. One thing on my For You has gotten very heavy that I realized was a negative that I thought was a positive is like food-based accounts and recipes. And, I just enjoy cooking, and I don't know, it's like not even for inspiration, but it was just a category of my life, like travel, fitness, cooking. But I realized it was like creating more noise in my head. Like, we are looking at food again. We are talking about food again. And I'm like, whoa, I'm trying to, work towards a different goal that has me constantly thinking about or eating food. And it's just, light and beautiful and not negative and pretty content.
So you've decided that's
and
not
also
really good for you.
Healthy content, but it was just too much of one thing. And I think that was a really eye-opening moment to go, this seemingly, harmless topic is actually really not helping me. So overconsumption of anything.
Yeah. So do you like pop culture though, right?
I do.
You do. So do you feel like you have that?
Not really. That's not a heavy
Okay.
one. If you look at my For You page, it is exercise and lots of chopped salads and some other cute things
I
in
love
there.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I try to limit that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought it was interesting. So whether or not that means you delete an app or remove it from your homepage or just keep it on your desktop, figure out what it is. And maybe you don't know what it is, but you give it a try and see the reaction. If you start to feel better, you might go, oh.
Yeah, that's a good point. Well, I did. You thought that was funny. I put all my social media in one big box. So there's like 7 of them, and you can barely see them. So you have to, it's 2 steps to get to social media. It's not just,
That's good.
There it is. It's like, where is it again? Oh, it's over there. Then there's, then there. So you have to make it a little harder on yourself.
Well, we use the excuse, whether or not it's right or wrong or true or helpful, that we're on social media, period, for business. So
Well, we are.
What percentage of your
That's huge.
What percentage though of your time on a certain app is dedicated to business?
I would almost say for me, half of the time. I'm not kidding. I mean, because we've already ascertained that I believe I could be a great editor in LA. And the reason I love the reels and making reels and watching and do all those things and I love making them for our workout.
Sure.
And, of course we have Abby who does it for Hilliard Studio Method, but we'll collaborate and half those are mine. Because I really enjoy them.
Right.
And to me, we've got to look at the positive side of that. Social media is a game changer for business. You want that presence. You want that algorithm to pick you up. So, no, we do everything we can to make that happen. And I would say that's maybe more than half of my time. I don't care about pop culture. I like the news. I like to see what's going on in the world. I'm curious, and I want to go, why are people thinking the way they're thinking? Why are people acting the way? My whole shtick in life is trying to go, what on earth are they doing? Like, what are we doing? Why are we thinking this way? Why are we behaving this way?
Yeah.
And that takes me to current events.
Let's think. How much of your life, adult life, have you had access to social media?
Not
much.
Not much.
Do you think it has benefited your life?
Probably not.
Okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's benefit, but I wouldn't say it's been a detriment either.
Okay.
What I did before was read books more. And so, but again, I'm not going to be a book snob or a social media. I'm not going to say either one. I mean, you can do both things.
Yeah, I'm just curious, as someone who, in your generation or age group, who is very active on social media, and
there's
maybe
very few of us.
Right.
Most of the people my age are like in the dark well of Facebook. Y'all, I'm just saying, I don't go on Facebook. My stuff that's on Insta Media, I call it Insta Media, Instagram, naturally goes to Facebook because they're connected. But when I do go into my Facebook, there's so much negativity. And I really believe it's because my algorithm there is my age group. I don't know why it is.
I don't know why.
I don't know, but everybody's so, I've had to just unfollow or block people. I don't even go on to check my feed. Now and then I'll go on and go, oh yeah, put that on Instagram. Oh, it came up on Facebook.
Okay, but I guess my question is, like, you come from a unique perspective where you've spent the majority of your adult life without these apps,
right, or without a cell phone, for God's sake.
Then, the generations below you, obviously, like, I haven't had it all my adult life, but then my children and the 20 and 30-year-olds, like, they will grow up with that being maybe, I hope not, a part of their whole lives, and like. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out that this is a controlling device that keeps us from communicating in real time or in real life with other people and allows us with the attention deficit.
Well, the first generation to grow up with it was that Gen X? Which is that? Is that Gen? I don't know which generation it is, but I did a quick view of an article, meaning I skimmed the article, did not read word for word, about these people, like probably 15 of them being interviewed, and they, to the last one, said they really, really regret the amount of time they have spent on social media, that it has really affected their lives negatively. And they're the first generation to have grown up with that.
Yeah.
And I feel
that's
lucky.
the point.
And I think you should feel lucky too that we did not. That we have chosen it to do it now.
Yeah, but we haven't chosen it because, listen, they still are in control of our minds. I don't know who I'm talking about, like Meta, these people, the algorithm, the AI. I don't really know who I'm talking about, but we're at their fucking mercy, and I don't like it because I think about, I met you later in my life.
Right.
Okay? So am I getting the most out of my lifetime spent with you? For example, if I have social media and we find ourselves here.
Yeah,
I mean, we're fairly good at it, but I also think, oh my gosh, another point is you are aware of what's going on and you know a little bit more of the tips and tricks. So you'll post something or reel something and it'll have a hashtag that you know is questionable and you'll be able to watch your insights and it plummets. And then if you took it off, it engages. So you have no control over what you're doing.
Well, you do have control, but this is the truth. And this is one of the things that chills my spine, and one of the reasons I do watch news feeds a lot. Is I was on International Women's Day, I did a specific post. I did not speak politically at all. I used the words gender and the word equality in one of the slides on the circuit.
Like a hashtag?
No hashtag. Zero hashtag. Matter of fact, hashtags are kind of passé. They don't even matter anymore on Instagram and I don't know about Facebook, but Instagram, they're
hashtag no more hashtags.
I read that, and I'm sure it's true because I read it, right? Whatever. The point being is I didn't have any hashtag that said this.
Okay. It was just language.
I did have the words in there, International Women's Day. I had gender and I had equality. And I do. You have a certain amount of people you can see your insights. My insights, they were not allowing me to see them. But what I did see before they turned them off was that this post was going straight up, meaning it was getting a lot of looks, and that's all you really want from an Instagram post. And then it went flat line, like straight across, like done, no more looks. And I think it finally got some looks because it was just on my Instagram feed, but the algorithm just stopped it, and said that it was political content. And it was not political content. When did gender and equality become political? I guess in the last, since January 20th?
Yeah.
So that was chilling to me. Yeah. I remember you and I were in Pinehurst that weekend for a kind of a rest weekend, and I really kind of had a hard time with that. Yeah. It upset me. But
right.
Anyway.
And so I don't want to beat a dead horse, but it is one of those things that I'm sure for the majority of us, the way we're using it, it's a negative in the scheme of things.
Yeah. I mean, and by the way, I want to say that I was upset not because of Instagram, I was upset because of the world situation.
Yeah,
that would be a thing.
That is a thing.
Yeah, so Instagram, Instagram, I don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
we're talking, it'll ban us in a minute.
yeah, it's really. Yeah.
I mean, it feels like that. So anyway,
Yeah.
that is one example of consumption of how to edit, whether it's your social media apps, news apps, or anything on your phone, even if it's your damn phone, period, and not just what's on it, the addiction. And so maybe I play with really putting it away for more extended amount of times instead of always letting it be there. I mean, one thing that I saw on a good parenting, like some things to do of spending time with your kids that is focused and doesn't have this anywhere nearby.
Yeah.
And that's a challenge. It really is a challenge.
Well, I think, and also the later you can have your kids pick up their phone, and I'll just say, I don't think 13 is at all old, but my granddaughter, it was probably next to the last person in her class or my daughter, her parent, and they said, no phone. And she had to beg to get one at 13. And what's interesting is she does not carry that phone around so much.
It is.
And
She's good at it.
And Clary, I'll text Clary and I'll say, is everything okay with Aubrey? She hasn't checked back in. I sent her a text this morning. She goes, oh, she hadn't even had her phone. She's out. I
love that.
And so that's an interesting thing. I mean, but also that's a parenting style that they have that is like, this phone is for this, and then it is not for everything else. So
Right.
there is some control we can do, I believe, as parents.
Right. And just to continue to listen, Jonathan Haidt is an excellent, I don't know, social scientist probably is his term, but wrote the Anxious Generation book recently that is really good, and heard him speak about
Is that this generation?
connection to phones and social media.
Well, thank God I didn't have. Yeah,
Glad we're talking
lucky.
about it.
Yeah. So whatever you can do, parents have control, but we as adults, we have to pay attention. And parents, you are the role model for your children's behavior, especially with these cell phones.
Yeah.
So I mean, you and I are out a lot because we're probably going out tonight because we want
Gotta
to
have a martini.
Yeah. No, we don't. We're going to talk about that in a minute. We're going to have a martini. If you've got your phone on the table, that's sort of another person kind of there, and we do that too. But
Yeah.
we'll see parents and kids, and everybody's just on their phones, parents and kids.
I know. We've all done it, and we all use those excuses. Well, it's business, or I've got to answer this. I'm like, since when?
Yeah.
I mean, since when did everything have to be such an immediate response? I
Right.
do believe like a 24-hour rule. Like if you get an email, the prompt response time.
Right.
But why does it have to be in the middle of dinner, in the middle
Right.
of a conversation, or all day long? And that's why our phones have trained us to do that and to expect that from the people that we're emailing and texting.
I just thought about White Lotus again. I'm sorry.
Oh, because they take their phones. Oh my God, you just have to watch it.
They take their phones, and they needed to take their phones.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
just watch it.
Daddy
we
Bad
gotta quit.
News needs his phone.
Daddy's not having a good vacation in
No.
Tahiti.
Okay, so that kind of covers
Yeah.
that one. Let's talk about friends and family and relationship types of,
So
we're
still on the theme of spring cleaning,
Yes.
editing out the things that are not leading us to a better physical or mental health.
Right, and now we're kind of focused on the mental and focusing away from the phones and now on the people.
People in your life.
In our lives. And I love that concept of fueling the relationships, like putting more energy into the good relationships.
Into the ones that are bringing you back positive vibes, right? Well, we pretty much edited out everybody else. I mean,
So we only have each
and
other.
the older you get, though, the easier it is to edit.
Yeah.
It really is, don't you think?
I mean, it feels really weird to say like edit your friends down. It's more about
sounds cruel.
edit the type of energy
Yeah.
that you're around,
Absolutely.
right? So it's not like a chopping block of like, well, these aren't my friends anymore.
No.
It's more of like,
Your energy will attract the energy type of people that
you want to be around.
you want to be around. Sometimes people come into your life that have energy that doesn't work with yours. You don't have to be cruel and not talk to them. You just make a decision. Do I want to spend more time with people that are negative energy people for me or not? And I would hope that you would choose not to, because it's not doing anything for you except
Right.
bring you down.
And one thing that I know going through the different phases of raising children is people come in and out of your lives at different times, and it's not necessarily for a bad reason or an edit or an audit of your friendships. It's just the way it works. I mean, we're in a larger city in Charlotte, and our kids started to go to lots of different schools. And so that time of connection specifically with those people kind of waxes and wanes. And it doesn't mean I don't miss the people that were a part of my life, but I know that people come in and out for different reasons. And it's always good to think, oh man, you know, the neighborhood friends when I had toddlers, like wouldn't I love to see them again? And it doesn't take that much to reach out and at least say hello, thinking about you at minimum. And then if you can get together or see each other, then that's a blessing too.
I think that's also just a really natural function. I've always thought about it as like a school of fish and how they just kind of flow and they come in and out, and or birds in a flock. And there's nothing right or wrong about it. It's just the way it is. It's the different times of your life. And because you don't see those people anymore isn't a negative thing at all. And if you want to talk to them again, it's easy. You know, you pick up that phone and call them or whatever, text them. But I think as far as friends go, it's again not the amount. I think the most personal relationships are not that when you see people that have a lot of friends. It's when you see people really engaged with one another. And I don't have a jillion friends.
No.
Right? I would love more. Bring them on. But you know, it's more about engaging and really having a deep, meaningful relationship without having to be deep, you know?
Sure.
Just something that is real and authentic and feels positive. And maybe all you do is talk about the sports. Doesn't even matter. You just, have a good positive relationship.
I think we're in a culture too that is a lot of going out and having to show up at event kind of things, plus going out with your friends or supper clubs or group clubs, and all that is really good. And also kind of the quiet time balance. I mean, what we talked about in the very first episode of this series was balance. And so if you feel like you're on some hamster wheel of, engagement, that's not suiting your life, I think it's fine to know when to say no, and when it's time to put a little bit more effort into saying yes, because you know that at the end of the day that will nurture you. Yeah,
put yourself first. I've talked about this at nauseum, honestly, because people, especially women, let's just talk about women. Women always feel like, until they get to be my age almost, that they have to think of others first. That is correct in so many ways, except that it is wrong in every way. I'm just going to tell you, unless you are taking care of yourself first, you don't have a chance. You don't have there's no way you can take care of that friend, that family member. You just can't, because then you're working at half steam, sometimes no steam.
Yeah.
Because you have put yourself in a position that is only going to go south badly for everybody involved eventually. Maybe not that night where you're making that dinner after you worked 18 hours and had a fight with your husband and your kid is sick. Maybe not that day, but it'll come back to bite you. And so we have to just really take moments to really assess. I need to just be with myself for a minute. Where is my energy and where can it extend? And by God, if a friend needs me and I am busy, I will be there. If she's like, or he's like, help me now, I will be there. But not, let's just go out because, again, maybe that's a function of getting older. I have no problem with saying no.
And I'm a people pleaser who has a problem with it heavily. And it's interesting too, because that does generally help feed my energy, right? In an extroverted way where I like to be around people and I'm curious about people, and we have a lot of people coming in and out of this building and space. I really enjoy that. So it's hard for me to sometimes draw that line and go, okay. And then
that's okay. You have me.
You do.
I like that.
You do.
And we're good.
And we're good. No more any of that. But I think I go 0 to 60 because I do have you as an adult partner on the weeks that we're together to help keep my shit in line. And then I go be with my kids the next week. And because I'm not with them all the time, I feel like I go 150%.
Right. Well, that's true.
And it's just like intense both ways.
Right.
So I might be like, well, just driving around chauffeuring today or whatever, or doing this, that, and the other. And you're like, I would never do that.
No,
I'm like,
no.
You would if you were me.
Please do not. That makes me sound really horrible because you love your kids and you will do anything for them, and you only get to see them 2 weeks out of the month.
Well, not see them, but like,
be responsible for
parent.
them.
Right.
And they're also grown up. I mean, you talk to them every day, and they see them half the time anyway.
Right.
But no, you have to be super parent. I get it.
But I think my personality, I think that would happen were that not the case. I mean, I think if I were with them all the time, it would be like that.
You'd be the really irritating queen of the PTA. PTO, and that's what it's called now.
I don't even show up at the school. I resent that comment.
Oh, we'll see.
No.
Yeah.
No, what do you mean?
No, you'd be right.
You're just giving me shit?
I am.
Oh, God.
It's just fun.
It's so fun.
Bumblebee.
You are name calling. I'm going to edit your ass right now for my mental health. You're out.
Y'all have got to go on Instatube.
Instamedia Institute.
Everything is Insta. I mean, it's instant. Instatube, Instagram.
Oh my God, you're a mess.
Yeah.
Okay. So friendships and relationships.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah. I mean.
And then your daily habits. I mean, I think for your mental health deserve an audit, dovetails in that way. But again, we were talking with our genius Kristen back there before, and she was saying how today she set her alarm 30 minutes at least earlier than she knew her son, young toddler son, would wake up, and how much different that started her day.
Right.
Like the difference between mommy, wake up, and you're like, oh, versus
playing catch up immediately.
Yes, versus that choice to go, I'm up now and I get to choose how to spend my time. And now you are entering my zone.
Right.
And that's an easy and little change.
Right.
But it's very impactful.
Yeah, I remember when we talked to Elizabeth Moran, the doctor, she was just like, I get up an hour before everyone else because I just need my space in my house alone. And boy, there's nothing more glamorous and wonderful than having that alone space that,
or a slower start. Alone, yes, and a moment of meditation, whether that's just drinking coffee or reading your book or doing your 10 push-ups on the floor, whatever it is. I do not do that, and that's something I would like to do because I have always been a little bit of that.
I see you hop out of the bed and do some push-ups. Well, you probably would. Why haven't you done that?
No, what I'm saying is I do kind of hop up Energizer Bunny. I don't need a lot of time. Therefore, I don't give myself a lot of time. But I'm noticing that I probably could use more time.
Oh, you could. Breakfast would be a good idea for you.
I know.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. That's all right. You do you.
No. But I'm saying it's not all right.
Yeah.
So I need to.
I think we all need a little.
Change.
We need a moment, even if we are that Energizer Bunny that can bump. I can't, and I'm glad I can't.
Well, it's why other cultures have the whole siesta in the afternoon.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some real truth and beauty to that.
Absolutely. I remember I was in Barcelona. Right. From 1 to 4, you can't even go into a store.
Right.
They're just done.
Yeah.
I love that. We should do that.
Well, we're in an overproducing type culture. So you did create a business though that kind of works like that.
I just was going to say, the reason we're sitting in the studio is because it's 2:30 in the afternoon, 3:30 in the afternoon. That clock's wrong.
For half a year, we don't change it for daylight saving time.
We have the clock with the hands, and I'm the oldest one. I'm the only one that can tell time. So everybody else needs like digital shit thrown in their face.
I do not.
But yeah, because we don't have classes between like 12:30 and 5
p.m.
or 4 or something.
We're a natural siesta
we are
business.
See, we're perfectly healthy here. Yeah, we work, we play. Now, what were we going to talk about? Smartinis.
Oh yeah, so there's kind of a rundown of ways to get the mental cobwebs out to make it simpler in the brain for your overall function, sprinkling that out. But we're going to have a Smartini.
Yeah, so why were we going to do that? So Kristen, you had said
Kristen laughed and she was like, that's 2 episodes in a row you've been talking about martinis. Let's just keep going. But what if you gave them something, healthy, like a mocktail,
I'll give you the
martini. I'm like, Kristen coined it first, the Smartini.
Smartini. So yeah, that wasn't us, that was her. And but she was like, yeah, you could do some kind of lemonade. I'm like, no. I can't do. When I dropped the sugar out of my diet, I dropped it. And so my version of the best martini on the planet is a very dirty vodka martini.
Not filthy, just dirty.
Dirty, yeah. I
Yeah.
don't like filth. I don't like that, pea, yellow, green stuff. I like it just lightly scented green, and maybe a good plump or 2 olives.
Nice.
Yeah, maybe a little shaved ice like floating in the very top.
Ooh,
And
sexy.
to me, that's a very smartini because it's not. Why would that be smart again, Liz?
Well,
let me think.
alcohol's not smart
Straight
anymore.
up vodka and a bowl. I'm not sure how smart that is.
But of your cocktail choices, it doesn't have all the sweet stuff.
Yeah, and that's the truth. And we are talking about editing out things that are not good for you. So if you're going to have alcohol and you choose to have a martini, it's best not to get the full cosmopolitan, but to get something without sugar. I'm really struggling here because none of us need to be drinking a lot of our martinis unless we just really enjoy it now and then.
Yeah.
And I do.
Moderation, balance.
I do. I really do enjoy that.
But I've gotten older. I agree with
Not two.
the alcohol, toxicity it's a thing.
Yeah.
It's
You know
a
what?
thing.
People have been drinking alcohol since they learned how to rub stones together and make sparks.
Doesn't mean it's healthy.
All I know is we've been drinking alcohol a long time, and I do a really solid workout. I do a great diet, and I love to have a glass of wine, and I love a martini once or twice a week. And by God, I'm going to keep doing it because it doesn't. I don't have an issue with it.
Joie de vie.
Joie de vie. Now, and if I choose not to, which sometimes I do, and I'm just going to do a few days, and I'm going to eat and live like at the foot of the cross because I need to be on TV in New York, and I don't want it to, blah, 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 whatever. And, it's not as much fun. It's just not as much fun.
Moral of the story. Okay. I don't know if that's the moral of the story.
The moral
but
of the story is
it's okay.
joie de vie is as important as anything else.
I'll take
Your
that.
joy of living is probably your most important goal.
Okay.
And so if that joy is healthy, maybe you've just got to have that one dessert on a Saturday afternoon or whatever. Pick and I don't even want to call it negative. I mean, a martini is what it is. It is a bowl of vodka or a bowl of gin. And if that's what you're going to sip on a Friday night, go for it. Just, try not to have more than one and don't do it every night.
There you go.
And then do all the other things that make you healthy. Mm-hmm. And by the way, I mean, I'm old as dirt and my liver is in great shape.
Good for you. Oh my God. So Smartini, play smart with your martinis.
Yeah. So I think we're done with the martini part, and we have we're going to still have everybody doing this 12 weeks, and we're not going to talk about it anymore. But for 12 weeks, we'd like to hear from you guys. I mean, are you walking 30 minutes a day? Are you drinking half your body weight in water? And by the way, if you do have a martini or coffee or any of those things,
you need more than
you
that.
got to have more than that because you've got both of those type of drinks, caffeine and alcohol, do dehydrate your body.
Right.
And then, are you getting enough protein? And if you're getting enough protein, you're not going to be, craving sweet drinks and all these other things.
Right.
So those things, plus doing your resistance training 4 times a week.
That's right.
You do this stuff for 12 weeks, and I promise you, if you meet me out for a martini, you're going to be sculpted and healthy, and everything's going to be perfect.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, so please do write in. Let us know what your healthy spring cleaning habits were, what your goals are. Did you meet them? Do you need more help? Do you need more advice? What tips and tricks do you have?
Yeah, because we're all here to help each other. So,
Yeah.
but just keep doing it and have fun.
That sounds like a plan.
Let's have a drink.
Let's go have a martini. Banging Beach Bud, here we come.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you. Love you.
Thank you. It's great.
Bye.
Bye.
Great.
I just kind of went.
Bloopers.
I just did a little moment. I just sort of was like,
Thinking about the martini, you didn't know how to put words together.
No, I was just excited that we've been here and we're done. You can get rid of all of that, Kristen. All right. Love you.
You look like a martini.
Thanks for listening to us today, wherever you get your podcasts. And remember, you can now find our podcast on YouTube.
Yeah. If you liked it, please share, rate, and review. We love 5 stars. And we hope you'll work out with us online or in studio at HilliardStudioMethod.com.